Okay, these problems are equally straightforward, but they do start to get a little bit trickier because they start to test our knowledge, once again, of the basic rule of valuation, which I want to remind you, and I'll type it again. What was it last semester? 55 times. Valuation in finance is about plotting specific cash flows at specific points on the timeline, and then discounting by the opportunity cost of capital to get net present value. So I'm going to show you how to do this a couple of different ways. So let's start with A here, and for A, it's asking for the present value of a 3-year annuity at $100 at the discount rate of 6%. Present value, future value, payment rate, and N per. We have a payment of 100. Our rate is 6%. The number of periods is 3. And there is no future value, and so we're just solving for a basic present value. So when we drop that in there, and I like to do it equals PV, and then point, rate, number of periods, payment, future value, we come up with 267.30. Now that was using payment, which we know is a shortcut. But let me go ahead and show you A in a slightly different way. Let me copy and paste this 3 times over. Actually, let's go ahead and copy and paste just this part again. How about there? Those 3 times over. Let me widen the columns a little bit. And this time, instead of making those 3 payments, let's make those 3 individual future values. One that comes in period 1, one that comes in period 2, and one that comes in period 3. And if we use the phrase that I used up top, at the end of the day, it's about plotting specific. Here's $100 at 1 year. Here's $100 at 2 years. Here's $100 at 3 years, all at 6%. And then if we add them up, magically, we are going to get the, okay, it's mad at me right now. There is no magic because I'm moving too fast. There's our same exact answer, our 267.30. So you see there that whether we use the payment shortcut or whether we use at the end of the day, this will always work. Always, 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 always. This is just a shortcut. So now, part B is worded a little bit differently, and what it helps for us to understand is that whenever we see a payment or a future value, we assume the timing of the cash flow is at the end of the period. So in this particular case, when we start talking about you have to wait 2 years instead of 1 year, what you're really saying is then in the problem up above, when we had this series of cash flows here for A, this was waiting until the end of period 1. And this is waiting until the end of period 2 and the end of period 3. So in essence, it's like you start on January 1st, but you get your $100 on each December 31st subsequent. So if you had to wait 2 years, what that really means is plotting at specific points on the timeline says we'd have to be at the end of 2 years, end of 3 years, and end of 4 years. And then if we went ahead and copied and pasted this again, in the right spot, preferably Al, you'd see that the value declines to 252.17. The reason being is now we have to wait 1 extra year to get that first cash flow, and so as values move out further on the timeline and into the future, they become worth less to us.